there's just us. There was no, it's like,
Yeah.
we're either matching or I guess we're walking out of the house.
Fair.
I don't think that's an option. So I was like, hey, look, like I'm not ready for my experience to be over. Let's just match and let's just call it a night.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
You're good.
We have a cool guest.
We do have a cool guest.
Our first Bachelor recapped.
Do you think so? Clayton?
He was our first Bachelor that we recapped.
Oh, okay. We popped our Bachelor cherry with this one here. Look how cool he is with his cap on and his big smile. We're big Clayton fans, honestly.
I think, were we not nice to you? We were nice. Do you watch our recaps? You probably didn't.
Well, I just know that you guys weren't mean to me because I remember everyone that was mean to me.
Well, Clayton, today we are going to pick your brain about an adjacent show. I don't even know if we can call it an adjacent show. Is it even a cousin? What is this?
It's a cousin once removed.
Yes, it's a completely different network. Very exciting, though. And I'm going to be honest, Clayton, this is how you know Netflix knows what they're doing. We weren't planning on watching Perfect Match Season 3 until we saw you were on it.
This is your fault.
Well, it's also shared responsibility because I wasn't the only person from Bachelor Nation.
That's true. That is true.
That's true. I will admit Rachel sort of sealed the deal. But when we saw Clayton, okay, I should welcome our guest. Our guest today is Clayton Echard. Echard.
Yeah, Echard.
Echard.
Close enough.
Is that German?
I don't know my background. I'll tell you this. We got like a 23andMe done for my dad, and he was so mad because he thought we had Native American in our blood, and apparently we don't. So we have no idea. We don't know what our background is. We were like a mutt or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me.
How many people did he tell that he was Native American?
Oh, gosh. I mean, he was like, look, I think we could get college, potentially paid for because you should be 1/16th Native American. And I'm like, I don't see it. I know we're Irish, but I don't really think we have the Native American. And then it came back and it was like 0.2% or something. He's like, this is bullshit. So.
Well, Clayton, today we're going to talk about you on Perfect Match Season 3. And we want to pick your brain about what you were thinking at various stages during your experience.
Yes, I'm excited for y'all to pick it apart. Maybe I'll learn. I'm sure I will learn something, a thing or two, because I obviously had my reasons for what I did. And I stand by them, but I'm curious, obviously, from an outsider's perspective, just from my own, knowing, it's like, hey, like how was this? I mean, I thought I followed, my heart. I did, but it led for some drama.
It really did. And I don't know if I was expecting it because I actually think, Clayton, you're rather drama-free.
Oh, I don't know.
No, but I think his intention is to be drama-free.
Yeah, my intention is not to be dramatic, but I always find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, you're the kind of person that means well to the point where you do damage.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would say that I've given this a lot of thought because I have wondered why every time I go on reality television, I find myself at the center of drama because my life is not really dramatic well, that's not entirely true. I got caught up, I guess, in some crazy stuff with the paternity scandal. But on the most, like on a daily basis, it's pretty chill. Like my life, I usually just stick to my job, do my stuff. I dance. I don't like to be involved in chaos per se. But I think what I believe it is like I legitimately just walk into any environment and I act accordingly. I basically act as though like what's in my best interest, irregardless of the way that like it's shown or like I'm following my heart. And I think that's where it's like, look, however it's shown and all that's beyond that point. Like I'm going to like react how I'm reacting now because this is what my intuition is telling me to do.
We'll get to your intuition.
I think sometimes people will say like, oh, hey, like they'll be aware of the cameras and I'm aware of them, but I'm like, look, I'm not going to change my behavior just because they're on me.
Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. So you walk in to a completely different setting.
Yeah.
We want to know, did you feel out of place? Like, did it feel different? Did you feel like you were with a different type of people, the Netflix people?
No. I mean, well, I will say though, I feel because they had the All-Stars, right? Like this show is all about bringing in the All-Stars from all the different Netflix shows. So you have the craziest personalities, you have the people with the most life in them that bring like their unique, characteristics. So when I walked in, I'm like, okay, this is like the cream of the crop. These are the ballers of Netflix universe. And they were as advertised. I mean, they had these fun personalities. They had something about them was unique, different, separate from somebody else. But I didn't feel, it wasn't like, oh, I'm the outsider. I mean, I was like, look, if they're going to if I walk in and they're like, don't interact with this ABC individual, like if it was going to be like one of those situations, I'm like, look, we can play that game. But I didn't feel any pressure because I think once you're the lead of a show, to be like just a supporting cast it's chill. I'm like, look, I'm not the main guy. Maybe I'm surprised right now, but it's like this is divvied out amongst other contestants. It's not like I'm the sole focus. So that makes it easier.
I gotta say, just from our perspective, we felt like you were different.
It was.
Really?
It felt like when like The Simpsons is on Family Guy or Family Guy is on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
DC versus Marvel.
Yeah.
Like it felt like you were from a different universe.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so can you digest that a little bit more as far as like what was the feeling? Was it almost like out of place? Like
Not maybe a little out of place. We say this with love. We're big Clayton fans.
I know you
honestly.
guys psychoanalyze stuff, so I want to know. I want to know like what's the deep dive on this one.
It felt like you were kind of on better behavior. Like you were behaving the way a Bachelor would behave on The Bachelor.
That's just because I've been PR trained to the nines.
I could tell.
I've been triple PR trained basically. It's like from my football days to like my medical sales job, like to then going into The Bachelor. It's like sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, Clayton, stop acting so robotic. My friends used to call me out for it. They're like, give us a real answer. I'm like, this is the real answer, but it's like coded, So that's what it is.
You're careful.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that, but I would say you seemed like, from my perspective at least, I found you sincere. Like Bachelor level sincere.
Yeah.
On a show where not everyone's sincere.
Everyone was more expulsive. That's the word I would
Shout out the
use.
Netflix producers because I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how it's going to look. So
That's our perspective.
If I came across as sincere, then that makes me happy because that's genuinely what I was trying to do. When I went into the experience, I had one goal to be 100% authentically myself. Because I didn't feel I was that way on The Bachelor. So let me ask you guys this. I'm curious. It doesn't really, because I feel people will see the real version of me. I think they'll see a version of me that is very different from what they saw on The Bachelor. Would you say that like what you saw on Perfect Match was different, or did you feel they were somewhat similar?
See, I feel like I know what you want the answer to that to be.
No, don't give me what I want. Tell me what you feel.
It was pretty similar.
It was pretty similar.
Okay.
To both of us.
But that's not a bad thing.
It's not. I feel like on The Bachelor, I was probably 80% me. So, there was a couple times where I felt that I gave in to the environment and I, said, okay, maybe I'll just change things up, a little bit differently. I was still being genuine through that whole experience. So that's not the wrong answer or the answer I didn't want to hear. I wanted to make sure that I fully expressed myself and was like, this is the Clayton that, you all either like or don't, but it's the real version of me.
I don't think anyone would ever accuse you of not being authentic.
Yeah, I
for what
agree.
it's worth.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
We'll get that one. Yeah, there you go.
No, I'm not fishing for compliments, by the way. I find this fascinating. To me, it's like every time I go on reality television, it puts me in a really challenging once in a lifetime experience that I've never experienced before in my life. So I go in there and it's like there's so much unknown around you. So it's like you're putting yourself to the test. How is my character going to respond in an unknown environment, right? Like when the stakes are raised, you feel like you're like, look, not that you have to be perfect, but that like if you commit any wrongdoing, or it's like you can end up like it's captured, right? So it's like you're putting yourself in a high stakes environment. That's my fascination with, going on these shows a lot of times is I'm like psychologically, I'm like, okay, am I ready for this? And how am I going to handle the pressure?
I got to say, even what you just said, so the last minute or so that you just spoke is exactly what made you, in our opinion, out of place or different on this show. Because there is a lot of psychoanalyzing and reflecting and self-observation.
Yes.
And it feels like you've been in a Bachelor ITM room for hours of your life.
I do feel like if you had never been on The Bachelor and this was your first time on a TV dating show, you would have been different. Not better or worse, just different.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think obviously I pulled from my prior experience and I was conscientious of it. But I basically just said, hey, look, I was almost there. I was 80% of the Clayton I wanted to be. So this version, when you walk in here, don't hold back. Be as fully goofy as you can be. Dance, have a great time, and just roll with the punches and be bold. As you saw, even out the gate, right when everyone got together and Nick Lachey comes in and they're like, anyone got their eye on anybody? And right away, I'm like, I got my eye on Lucy. So like
Oh, Clayton, that is such a Clayton thing to say for you to say that was being bold.
Is that not bold? No one else is speaking up.
Sure, it was kind of I'll applaud that. I wouldn't have said anything. You're bolder than me.
Well,
but
put it this way.
I'll be honest. You came into prison the first night and you were in there for jaywalking. That's what it felt like.
Look, I felt like for me, like that was a bold, confident move because I've lacked confidence most of my life, or it was a facade. I was a people pleaser. I used to be very small. I used to be friend zoned by all the girls growing up. So I started building up this external image that I built to impress people. But a lot of times, like that confidence was a facade. So for me, like to walk into a foreign environment and be like, hey, my name's Clayton. I'm here. I got my eye on this person. This is where I'm going. Let's see how it goes. Like that was a big deal because for me, again, like I lack confidence most of my life. So everything's perspective, and I appreciate your opinion on it. But I felt like I was trying to set the tone for myself. Where I'm like, when I'm walking in here, I'm not holding back. I feel something right now. I got my eye on this girl, so I'm letting the world know because he asked. So I'm gonna just come out and say it. I don't care. Like no one else is speaking up. I'll say it.
And you know what? On Bachelor in Paradise, that would have landed much harder.
Bachelor in Paradise, there was chatter at some point, but that never became.
Okay. So really, no difference between Bachelor people and Netflix world people.
No, I actually.
Not bigger personalities, really?
Yeah, bigger. Yes, but that's because the Netflix people they were bigger personalities, but that's also because like that was the all-star cast,
right?
So I think if you took Bachelor Nation's all-star cast and put them all in a house, you'd have the same amount of energy, high level energy, uniqueness. Agreed. Like it's just. You have to pull in the top of the top, and then you would have that. I think Bachelor Nation would be able to hold their own.
Yeah. So let's move on to your first match. You end up matching with Juliette first, and I'm going to be honest. It seemed like it was by default.
It was.
It seemed like you wanted to actually match with Madison. So Lucy goes with Daniel, and then you seem interested in Madison. Was your match with Juliette by default?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was very open about it to her. And I mean, it was basically came down to there's just us. There was no, it's like, we're either matching or I guess we're walking out of the house. Fair. I don't think that's an option. So I was like, hey, look, like I'm not ready for my experience to be over. Let's just match and let's just call it a night.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on now. So you're with Juliette for the first 2 weeks or first 2 days. Sorry. Things go by quickly.
You feel like weeks in the house. It's, when you're spending 24 hours with people. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that the Juliette match, like to me, it felt like you were just different people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Juliette, I mean, is very high energy, is a woman that like stands on her business and is unapologetically herself. And I admire that. I mean, I'd like to be unapologetically myself too, but I think she's willing to just be, I mean, fully out there, fully expressive, doesn't hold back. And I think that expressiveness, there are times where I go, okay, like, hey, take a breather, right? Like I feel like where she's just like, she'll go out there and just sink her teeth in someone, I'm like, let me step back a little bit. So she's a little more fiery, I guess is the way I would describe it. I think I'm a little bit just more subdued. And I'm still trying to, well, I guess I can't go that far. We'll just have to wait and see what comes next.
I'll tell you what's going to come next.
I spoke on something, but the people have to watch the rest of the episodes to see. Yes.
Okay. Good teaser, though.
So, what the hell were you thinking with Rachel?
Yeah. Okay, so we're more specific.
Yes.
Rachel Recchia walks in.
Yes.
And I feel like he, I think, explained what was going through his mind at the time. You're very good at sort of expressing. You're very good at the confessionals and saying what you're thinking. Very well trained, as you said. But you end up matching with Rachel right out of the gate. I have my opinions on why you did this, but I want to know, what Andy asked. What were you thinking matching with Rachel?
Yeah.
Only to change your mind the very
And I want 100% Clayton here, not
You're
80.
going to get it. You're going to get it.
I'm going to get it right here.
You're going to get it.
And I want 100% Clayton here, not 80.
You're going to get it. You're going to get it.
I'm going to get it right here.
You're going to get it because this is 100% the truth. It's like I had to go through a wave of emotions. When she first walked through the door, I was shocked, obviously. I'm like, I was
So
like,
you had no idea. You had no idea.
no, I mean, like I didn't know that she was going to be popping on the show. And so she shows up, walks to the door, and I'm sitting like right in front of the door, like at this fire pit area. And I'm like, oh, here we go. You know, and, you know, I'm like, I'm not certain how she's going to react. I mean, it's, you just don't know, especially in an environment like this. Is her face going to sink? Is she going to be freaking out? And she looks at me and she's like, you know, we'll talk. I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, like, why would we not? And so we end up, you know, sitting down and having a conversation, and I feel all these emotions welling back up, excitement to see her again. Like, this is somebody that I connected with on a very deep level. You know, 3 years ago. Right. So it's like, you're back in this environment on reality television. You're wondering, okay, why are we both here? Is this meant to be? Like, is everything happen for a reason? Because I believe everything happens for a reason. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling excitement. I want to catch up with her. I want to know what's new. Like, I'm just excited to see you. Right. And then all these old feelings are coming back in. I'm like, oh, I care about this person. And so, you know, you get into that position. And so I'm like, look, like we talk. And I just was like, the feelings were there. Like, everything was exciting. And I'm like, it's no accident that we're both here. Coupled that with the fact that I didn't have a strong match with Juliette. Like, we weren't a strong match. And so it just, at that point, I'm like, look, if I'm considering both of these options right now, as far as like who's the best fit for me as a match, it's Rachel. Right. And so I'm like, this makes sense. So we match, and I was very careful. I'm like, look, like, I don't want to, you know, be affectionate or anything like that, you know. So we cuddled, went to sleep, like, no kissing. And then, you know, I wake up the next day and I have a pit in my stomach. And it was just like a voice internally screaming at me saying, you made the wrong decision. And not that it was the wrong decision as in like, oh, I need to go back to Juliette. It was like, no, Clayton, like this, like, these feelings are super, super strong between you two, but it's just, you know, that she's not your person. You know, now that the emotions have settled and like it's the next morning and it's not just like in the moment, I've had some time to digest it, sleep on it. I just was like, this isn't it. I can do, my heart is telling me like, this is not going to make, you know, this is not going to work out. So I gave it, you know, most of the day to just be like, to make sure. I was like, let's make sure that this is a feeling that sticks. And it did. So I told myself at that point, I need to end this as quickly as possible out of respect for her, because I can't drag this out. I've given it enough time. You know, I didn't feel it was right to even like sleep on it for another day. Yeah. And so I made that decision, and that was okay.
It. So on that note, just when you say it didn't, if you know, you talked about following your intuition and it was a coincidence. I mean, we have to remember that there are powers that be that intentionally cast you on the same season. Right. Like, how much of that is in the back of your mind when you're like, oh my God, like, I feel like you saw serendipity in something that was contrived from people who this is what they do for a living.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I told myself I'm not going to, you know, I know I'm on a show, but at the end of the day, I'm like, look, I'm doing what's best for me. So I'm not going to, you know, make a decision on what I think what somebody wants me to do. Again, especially because it's like, look, I'm looking at Rachel, and it's like, I'm looking at the connection that her and I have, and that's it. I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I was like, okay, I wonder like what they expect out of this, but it doesn't matter, right? I was like, maybe like, I'm like, that thought popped in my head, like, well, how are they going to feel about me, you know, basically, you know, breaking up? I'm like, it doesn't matter, Clayton. It doesn't matter. It's like, do what you want to do. That's the point. No, and also,
I agree with that. I'm just wondering, why did it cross your mind to match with her as friends, and not in a way where like, not like sort of ending things in a romantic way the next day would be as hurtful to her? No,
I didn't think to like match with her as friends. I just matched in the moment because it was, again, I'm like, look, this is a stronger match. This is somebody that I care about, you know, and this is somebody that, like, this is what we're here for. This show is for us to find our perfect match. It's meant for us to, you know, to explore other connections. And in that moment, I'm like, look, my connection with Rachel is stronger than Juliette. Like, that's just a given. I was like, and I'm like, so this is where I'm going to go. And as far as like where that goes, I'll figure it out as I go. Like I don't need to like project ahead here and think and like forecast. I can't, because I wasn't expecting this to occur in the first place. I'm like, I just need to focus on being present and feeling my way through this. So that's what I did.
And do you think that the impetus for that pit in your stomach was that you suddenly realized that you could hurt her again? Or was it the same reasons why you didn't feel the connection was strong enough in the first place resurfacing? Or maybe both?
No, it wasn't from prior feelings, because I knew 3 years had passed. So I'm like, look, I mean, like, yes, there were prior feelings in place of like seeing someone that you knew very well back then, but there was like, hey, we also are different human beings than we were 3 years ago. So that's where I wanted to see, having, talking with her, which we did. We sat, we talked in the room that night, and just to see like where we're at alignment wise. And if it made, it's like, look, are we the same people from 3 years ago? Have you changed? Have I changed? Now that we're changed individuals, I'm guessing we are, because of course it's been 3 years. Like, how is that going to mesh? Will we mesh? Sure. And I just, again, I woke up the next day and it was just like, we don't, having like had the conversations, having just slept on it, waking up and realizing, okay, now that the initial excitement has subsided, the emotions worn off. Now, rationally, does this make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is where I'm going to just challenge you a little bit on this, just like as a woman watching and having watched your season and watching what did end up happening with Rachel. This is the part of you that I think when we watched, we were like, oh, that is the same Clayton, is the side of you that would follow your intuition and not sort of think like kind of 2-3 steps ahead of what if you're wrong? Like, how could it hurt her if you are wrong? Like, I'm all about following your intuition and living in the moment and doing all the things. But I think that if you were like wondering what was the same, what was different, from my perspective, and of course, I don't know you, I wasn't on the show. I'm sure that there's like a flurry of emotions. And plus you didn't have a great match with Juliette. So that's huge. But just from, as a viewer's perspective, from my perspective, it's like you sort of have to like mitigate damage.
Again, I think I was taken aback, a little surprised, with her response. Just because I'm like, look, it's been some time. I didn't expect such a strong emotional reaction. I kind of thought like it was like, look, I'm doing this a day later. Mm-hmm. So, she'll understand. I'm like, okay, like I understand. Well, thanks for letting me know. I wasn't expecting, it to basically kind of feel like we were back in The Bachelor. Like the emotions were just as intense, and that threw me off. So I would say that, I definitely was incorrect in my assumption that, I thought me cutting it off the next day would have been less emotional. Mm-hmm. So I miscalculated, obviously. Yeah.
Can I say why I think you matched with Rachel beyond everything you've said here? Obviously, I can't say why you did something, but I actually think brings us back to the beginning of this interview where we talked about how you always have the best of intentions. And I think you wanted Rachel to have her perfect match experience. And you were her ticket into having that experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yes. Had I not matched with her, I'm not certain anyone else would have matched with her that night. Because all the other matches
100%.
Were strong in the house. But I also think, again, that wasn't my focus. It was like, let me just match with her to give her this experience. It just happened by design, I suppose. And again, that's where I just believe, like, I'm like, look, I can't make a mistake. Like, I will take the actions that I'm meant to make. And that's really what I believe now. I don't second guess my decisions. I'm like, look, I have to trust that that what I do is what I'm meant to do. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to be perfect, right? But it's real. And I mean well. I can't, unfortunately, tears will be shed, things will happen, people, emotions will be brought up. And it's like, how can you perfectly navigate that where it's not, that doesn't happen? Of course, I guess the only way I could have not or stopped that from happening was not matching with her at all, but then she walks out of the house and that's it and it's over. But again, like I was like, I didn't think, I really am trying to just be fully present. And it's like, look, you can forecast all the things that may happen tomorrow and the next day, but you have no idea. So like you can try to think 3 steps ahead, but I often feel like, especially on the reality TV environment, it's like, good luck. You're on television, like you're trying to say 3 steps ahead, and they thought that you get a 180 degree, twist the next morning.
What's the saying?
Yeah, like
you make plans and God laughs. In this case,
God laughs.
in this case,
it's like the twists and turns that are coming, and I'm like, look, I could sit here and spin my wheels until my face turns blue. As far as like what decision should I make? The safe decision, I suppose, would have been to not match with her, right? Like, was I aware that like if I matched with her and things went south, that the Bachelor audience was going to be pissed off at me and they were all going to come with their pitchforks, like they did previously? Yes, I was aware of that. But I said, look, it doesn't matter about them. Like, they don't know what's in my head. They made assumptions. They were incorrect the last time they made assumptions about why I did what I did. They're going to have their opinions this time around as well. And they're likely going to be wrong because they don't know what's going on in my head, and I have the right intentions, and how they perceive it, that's on them. And that's okay. Like, you can perceive my actions however you want. That's totally fine. I can only explain why I did what I did. And if people don't agree with it, then that's fine. Like we can't please everybody, right? We all know that.
No,
actually,
definitely not.
It's interesting because I think hearing you talk about this, I think you may have been in kind of a no-win situation, because if you didn't match with her, then people be like, oh, that's not nice. They have such history. Why not give it a try? And having matched with her, I think it is reasonable for you to have assumed that her reaction wouldn't have been as severe. Her reaction, I mean, at the time, I was sort of like, wow, she's having a really strong reaction to this. But she also, I think, was triggered. She was definitely triggered for sure, but it's not your job to have known that. I'm trying to see your side here, because I see it more than I did before. And I know there's going to be reaction to the way she reacted towards you. You're going to take heat for this. There's no question about it. Of course. From some people. Some people will take your side for sure. But I wonder what would have happened had she had the reaction you would have assumed, which would be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. This isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought might happen. Again, I made a judgment that it's been 3 years. I think that this will be I'll move forward with this as quick as possible. I was not intimate with her. I did not kiss her. I was doing that to protect her. I was like, I want to make sure that like I don't go too.
Well, you did kiss her.
Well, on the
wait, was that the only kiss? The kissing,
blindfolded, the kissing challenge.
Yeah, that was the only time you kissed
by accident. You kissed her by accident.
Yeah, that was the only time. I mean, I purposely did not kiss her the night that we matched, because I was like, look, I want to make sure, like, move slowly and make sure this is the right thing. So that's why all we did was just talk that night. And again, I was trying to be very cautious. But yeah, I kind of. Again, it wasn't really, I mean, yeah, sure, it wasn't really a win-win, or there was like a no-win situation that was presented.
Yeah, I think it was a no-win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, people are going to be mad at me, for whatever I did.
Honestly, I don't know if they're going to be mad
I don't know,
at
because
you.
if you had dragged it out, if you had dragged it out another 2 episodes, 3 episodes, then they'd be mad at you.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a mixed response, but hearing your side of the story right now, a lot of the stuff you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, and I hope that it doesn't sound like I'm coming at you. I think I just represent like probably a portion of the audience that watches that and is like, well, he knew this was a possibility. And plus her reaction colors your actions. Her reaction sealed your fate. Yes. Yeah. Had she not had the reaction, no one would have cared about this incident. Totally. Right. And that's the hard part is, for me, of course, when that happened, I felt myself go on the defense, and I was like, ooh, because I'm seeing this this strong emotion coming my way. And I'm like, oh gosh, like this is not the way that I wanted it to go. Yeah. I started kind of getting, in that moment, a little nervous and triggered from my past. Cause I was like, oh my gosh, like the people are going to, lay into me. Like, this is not at all what I thought was going to happen. But again, I had to pull myself back in that moment. I'm like, stop thinking about all that. Right. Like I go into these environments, challenging my character to see how I handle the unknown. And that certainly was a moment where I was like, okay, how can I learn from this? Right. How could I have been better in that scenario to be able to navigate her emotions in a better way where like what wouldn't happen? Or was it even possible? Or do I just give myself grace and say, look, it was impossible for you to have handled that any differently? I'll say this. I don't regret anything that I did. I don't. I would do it all over again unless I knew how it was going to go. If I could peer into the future and see how it would have went, of course I would have changed course.
But having, I stand by my decisions. I'm like, look, I did what I thought was best, and that's all I can do.
Is there anything you would do differently though?
No. And I say that because I feel I was meant to be the version of me that I was, just like I was meant to be the version of me that I was on The Bachelor. I still to this day believe, had I been the most beloved Bachelor or just one of the top 5, or whatever, top 10, I would not be the individual that I am today. And I'm very proud of the emotional intelligence that I've garnered over the years by going to multiple therapies, practicing mindfulness, doing different healing modalities. I did all of that because when I came off The Bachelor, I felt that I did lack some emotional intelligence. And I saw that because I was like, well, I grew up with a household of 2 brothers, no sisters. It was very physical focused, all sports, no talks about how we feel ever. So I felt I was lacking in that regard. But it's because, my weaknesses got highlighted on The Bachelor, and so I saw that, put the work in, and became what I am today. And so I'm like, look, I needed to be that version of me on The Bachelor in order to be who I am today, which I'm proud of. And in the same way, I'm like, look, I'm not perfect. Obviously, there's more I can learn from as I've went on this show, and I will now watch it back and see further weaknesses that I can work upon. But I'm like, look, this version of me was the best version I could put forward.
I love this answer.
I feel like I can tell that you have studied not only yourself, but like Buddha. You've gone and I'm impressed. Yeah, you have
He's more
become
enlightened than the guy we saw in, what's it?
And by the way, everything you're talking about in the moment, following your intuition, being present, it led to where you are meant to be. You are who you are because, trust me, we are on the same page. We are.
And also, support. I will say you are going to take far less heat for this show than you did for The Bachelor. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, look, what happened was there was a pile-on effect. And I also, the first time around on The Bachelor, I mean, is it just the Bachelor audience that's a little bit crazed versus Netflix universe is more forgiving? I don't know. I think more what it was like, when I did what I did on The Bachelor, I was just apologizing for everything, which is, I was trying to defend my actions at first. I was basically, explaining, over-explaining, as opposed to just taking full accountability and saying hey, I hurt people and I'm sorry for hurting them. And just keeping it at that. I was doing too much over explaining, which I think further incited individuals because they said look, we get it, why you did what you did, but you still aren't taking accountability. But that was because I was just trying to say the right thing. I was like, what can I say to get all the heat off me? I just don't want to be hated, right? I grew up a people pleaser. I just want everyone to like me. This time around is different. I'm like, I am no longer a people pleaser. I feel like I've shed that skin off of my body. I'm like, I just recently put out a video online. I'm like, I'm not meant to be liked. I'm meant to be a mirror. And I genuinely believe that. I'm like, when you watch me on television, you're going to feel something because I'm not here being conscientious of how can I be the most liked person on this show? I often wonder, and even after this experience, I was like, Clayton, why do you always do this to yourself? Why? The route to go to be well liked. I knew that when I went back and chased after Susie that I was going to be hated. I knew that. I knew the safe route was to just go ahead and date Rachel or Gabby and just take it in through the end of the show and then break up on the other side of it and be like, oh, we tried to make it work in the real world and it didn't work. I knew from that point that it was not going to be the popular decision and that I was not going to be liked, but I didn't care. Because deep down, I was like, this experience is my experience and I'm doing what I want to do and I'm not perfect. And I want everybody to see this, that authenticity is what I'm trying to convey. I'm not, I want you all to see this. This is what is real, is real. I think a lot of times people watch reality television and they're like, this doesn't feel real. I feel like these people are playing it up for the cameras. And it's right. Because they do. Because people are conscientious of the cameras and they're like, I want to be, well liked so I can get a lot of followers. I'm like, look, when it comes down to it, I'm aware of what I could do to be well liked. I just don't choose to do it because I'm like, I don't care about being liked. I care about doing what's right and what's real for me.
I mean, if you can come out of being on one of these shows and not care about what people think about you, you've won the game.
Yeah.
You've won the game.
It was really hard. I mean, it's been I would say probably in the last 4 months is when I ditched it. Now, look, are there moments where where it hits me? Yes, it depends on the day. Maybe I have a stomach ache or I'm sick one day or I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I'm already highly charged and then I see a bunch of negative comments. Yes, I'm not perfect, but I've been able to ditch a lot of that because I'm like, look, I think I'm meant to get people to feel something. So they go, why am I feeling this? Right. And it's like, it's pulling up something from your past.
I also think what happened with you on your season happened at a specific moment in time. It was like, wasn't it kind of in COVID, your season?
Right after. I was the first season to go back off of lockdown. Yeah.
Exactly. And, a lot of people were, I think people were acting a little different 3 years ago than they are now, to be honest. Sure. I'm not just saying that. Like, the reaction to things felt very angry at something greater. It wasn't personal.
They had no outlet. They were just stuck in their living room.
I just think that I feel like the level of backlash you specifically got was almost a turning point for the level of backlash people now receive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot, and again, I'm curious to see what kind of response I get this time around, just because I'm like, am I going to get the same responses telling me, the kill yourself comments, telling me that I'm not good enough, that I'm not deserving of love, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's never right for someone to ever send that. I don't care. It's like, look, I hurt people's feelings. I understand that. And I'm not trying to take away from that, but I didn't do anything massively, dangerous or wrong. I just I went on a TV show and I hurt feelings, and I'm like, look, I don't want to minimize it, but what I'm minimizing it, I suppose, in this moment to say, I didn't kill somebody. So you telling me to kill myself, you telling me I'm not deserving of love, you telling me that you're going to find my family, and hurt them. I'm like, that is ridiculous. That is you're the one that's in the wrong. It's not me. You're taking all this pent up anger. And I think you're right. People were pent up, COVID was a stressful time of the year, and people are just looking to launch out at somebody. I have all this anger inside of me. Who can I, put it on? And people threw it on me. I was the face.
What kind of depraved individual
I know
wants to tell Clayton to kill himself after The Bachelor that season?
It's ridiculous.
And that's so. Again, this time around though, I'm not allowing it. If you've seen, I've now that when people call me out, I call them back out. I kind of that's happened recently. I'm like, I'm standing my ground now. I'm not going to be a pushover. I'm gonna stand by what who I am and what I believe myself to be. And I'm like, look, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, right? That's the saying. And I'm like, it's true. My dad used to tell me that all the time growing up. And if you're a pushover, people will keep pushing you. And I'm like, look, no longer. I am going to stand my ground. Again, you don't have to agree with me, but I'm gonna stand on the things that I believe in.
Okay, Clayton, we have one more question and then we're going to get to our rapid fire.
Okay.
What was your favorite thing about filming Perfect Match versus The Bachelor, and then your least favorite thing?
My favorite part of it was that it felt like I wasn't the main character, so I could relax and I could just not feel that everything was, was centered around me. As The Bachelor, you feel this high stress because you're the main person. I didn't feel that. So what was so nice was I was able to just let my guard down right out the gate, relax, have a good time, dance, chop it up with the guys, get to know the girls. It felt very laid back, and it didn't feel, The Bachelor role is a lot of pressure, it's because not only are you The Bachelor, but you're expected to act a certain way. People are like, you need to act highly, very professional. You have to, say all the perfect things. There's this sense of perfectionism that's almost expected by the audience with The Bachelor. He's got to he's got to look perfect. He's got to talk perfectly. He can't say too much. He can't lick his lips. The things that I was getting called out for, I'm like, I do lick my lips a lot, right? But that's the thing. It's
you can't say either, Clayton.
You can't say it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic, and it places the weight of millions of people on your shoulders, and you feel it, and it's hard to then be able to I don't feel I can be myself because I have to uphold this image. Didn't have to do that on Perfect Match, which is awesome. Least favorite thing. I'm not just saying this to say this. I genuinely had such an awesome experience that I have no regrets, and there was nothing that I didn't like. I think having gone on shows previously, I kind of knew what to expect, but it was different though. It was a different experience. But I enjoyed all of it. There was really nothing that I was mad about. I had fun. I gave my all in all of the competitions, as you all saw, and had a good time. So there's nothing that I would say was negative.
Great answer. Okay, Clayton, we're going to end with our rapid fire, which means that we are going to give you the names of your castmates. And after each name, you'd have to give one word to describe that person. It could be an adjective. It can be just whatever comes to mind. The first word that comes to mind. Sound good? Okay. Cody.
I'm going to go with blunt.
Daniel.
Sneaky.
Ooh. Freddie.
Sweetheart. That one's easy.
JR.
The first one that came to my head. I can't give an explanation. I'm just going to say Menace.
Oh, I like it.
I like that.
There's somebody else in the house that has the Menace nickname. That's why I hesitated, but I he came in with some energy, and I thought it was hilarious.
Louis.
See, Louis is the one that he calls himself the Menace, but I think Louis is, I'm going to say one of a kind.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Louis. Actually, he's 24 years old, but I look up to him. I know it's rapid fire. I'll just say I think the world. I think the world of that guy. I think he's the most unique individual I've ever met, and he's like so real. And I look up to him like, how did you get all this knowledge and wisdom? I don't know if it shows that. He's very intelligent, and
no, he's got a lot of personality.
Yeah,
we saw a lot.
He doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
And for him to figure out himself at a young age, he's one of a kind.
And also to be with Sandy at a young age, he's not easy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Sandy's got high. Okay, well, are we going to come up on Sandy? I'm sure we're going to.
Yeah, we're coming. Okay. Ollie.
Genuine. That's the one that popped up in my head.
Scott.
Scott, I would say, I feel like I have to save words for other people, but the first word that popped up was fiery.
AD.
Well, I don't know why gentle was the first word that popped in my head, because she's got a, I would say, overall, I feel like she had a gentle personality. Yeah.
Juliette.
That fiery. That's why I was trying to save the fiery word. She's got fiery written all over
You can use it twice.
Okay.
Lucy.
Kind.
Madison.
I'm going to say misunderstood.
Okay.
Oh, misunderstood to the good side or the bad side?
I think she's misunderstood, but in a way, as in she's a good person. I think sometimes she just gets misunderstood. Yeah.
Got it.
Rachel.
Passionate.
And Sandy.
Sandy's like, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use for her. I can't, I feel like I was gonna say one of the boys. I love her energy. She's like, what's a better, but one word though. I'll just say charismatic.
Okay. We'll go with charismatic.
Charismatic,
yeah.
That's a safe one.
I'm really bad at rapid fire stuff. As you can tell, I have a lot to say for everything.
Well, that's the thing. That's your ITM trained. You can't shed it.
Yeah, you can't analyze.
No, because that's the
fire.
thing. Is I say one word and it'll be an article. They'll be like, Clayton said so and so was fiery. Why does he not like her? And it's like that's not true.
Yeah, we've got 12 articles now.
Yeah.
Clayton, thank you so much for joining us. It was great chatting with you and picking your brain.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to. Will you do a little follow up afterwards or breakdown on how the conversation went?
We do.
Okay, I'll have to listen to it to see what you.
Oh yeah, we do. Oh, absolutely. We'll take these
100%.
off and then talk about you.
All right, sounds great.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
All right.
I have thoughts.
You do.
We're gonna start by giving the number of how much we think Clayton. We're meeting him for the first time, right? Even though we feel, everyone feels like they know the people they watch on TV.
Sure.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is he like, or how much is he not like what we thought he would be?
So a 10 is he's exactly like he is on TV.
Yes.
And a 1 is he's literally the most different person than Clayton we've ever met.
Yes.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
6.
10. What?
Yeah.
6?
Yeah.
I'm giving a 10.
You gave a 10?
Yeah, he's
full 10.
Yeah, he's exactly who I think he is on TV. I think he's exactly the same.
Huh.
I think that he gets himself across very well.
I think he's more I felt he had more animation in this interview. I felt there was more he was kind of just loose.
Oh, yeah, no, I see. No, I get from Clayton, when he said that his friends would be just give us a straight answer. I get professionalism from Clayton. Not in a bad way, in a way that I think would be, it's sort of how when we have lots of pageant ladies on The Bachelor, they have this sort of poise that comes
You're
from.
You're saying he's a pageant guy?
No, he just has the poise and sometimes the formality.
He's got a pageant poise.
A pageant poise, sure. But no, I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way, because I think that The one thing I know about Clayton is he wants to do the right thing. He wants to be a good person. Like there is no one who I think has better intentions than Clayton in this show. And it was interesting hearing some of the backstory, like he wasn't expecting Rachel to take it as poorly as she did when he ended things, for example. And I believe that. And knowing that, they didn't hook up or anything, there was no making out, there's sort of an assumption when they turn over the do not disturb sign that, they're all going to go have sex. So it is interesting hearing his perspective on that. But nonetheless, because of her reaction, I, as a viewer, and I admit I'm just a viewer having a reaction, I have the reaction of, okay, yeah, you were living in the moment, you were following your intuition, and yeah, like everything is as it should be. But there's also a small part of me that's like, but maybe you could have mitigated like a little bit of the damage. But it's because, no one wants to watch Rachel Recchia sobbing on TV.
Yeah. No, I honestly don't know if there was many escape hatches for him in this situation.
Yeah.
I think he kind of may have done it as well as he could have. The mistake was his mistake really was engaging in this, initiating this, and not knowing how strong the reaction was going to be.
Yes.
Not to put it on Rachel. Obviously, he's to blame for some of it, but I do not think in any universe he expected him to say after a night of no kissing and no cuddling, like, I don't know, I don't feel this, right?
Yeah.
Like that she was going to go ballistic.
No, it's true. But as she said, she's having like a triggered response.
She's triggered,
she's
no
been
doubt.
Traumatized by this scenario.
Can I tell you something?
What?
This man should run for office. And that is neither a compliment nor an insult, but he should run for office. That should be what he does. I should have asked him. I'm gonna DM him. I'm gonna say, do you have any interest in politics?
Okay.
Do you not think this guy would be a good politician? He's 6'5". He played football. That's right away. You play football, you got like 90% better chance of getting elected.
Yeah.
He's obviously looks the part. He's a good looking guy, obviously. He's well spoken. He speaks his mind, but he doesn't speak all of his mind.
The thing is, he speaks so much. Like he gives such a long, detailed answer but I kind of want it. I want a little bit less of the words and more of the like. Do you know what I want? This is what I want Clayton to do. I want Clayton to go into one of those like those screaming rooms, like with a big bat and a table full of like glassware, and just like let loose. Like I want him to scream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's a people pleaser. Like I relate to that. Like I commend him on shedding the people-pleasing ways, and like he has done so much work on himself. I see it. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And now I want to see Clayton. Do you know what I want to see Clayton just like spread his wings.
But that in itself is a compliment, because the fact that you care.
Yeah.
We've interviewed people where we're like, I don't care if I see the real this person.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It is what I see. It's fine. It'll do. But
well, have you seen
I want to see more of Clayton.
It's true.
I think there's some good stuff in there.
Same.
Not that the good stuff isn't coming out. It's good. I resonated with his side of the story. And I'm not just taking his side because we interviewed him and now he's a friend of the show. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I totally understand. Like if I was in his shoes, Juliette wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
Rachel suddenly comes along. We're both going to get eliminated if we don't choose each other. We're like vibing. I said it. This is the first. I said it. It's in the wild. I said it as a first real vibing. I said, of course I'm going to pick her. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about the consequences. I'm like, we'll figure it out. She's not going to get that. If we feel it doesn't work out, she's going to be fine. She'll just move on to the next guy, and so will I. Well, whatever. But it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
He nipped it in the bud as soon as he possibly could have.
Yeah.
And she had a big reaction.
Yes.
What could he have done differently? Could he have said like, oh, okay, I don't like Juliette. Oh, here's Rachel. Nah, forget it. I'm just going home.
That's why I think part of what he did was to bring Rachel onto the show, was for her to have that experience. And he said, yeah, that wasn't the full thing. But even his answer to that was like somewhat gallant. In the same way that bringing her on the show really was. It's like he didn't even say that in his answer, even though I think it's implicit.
Yeah.
Rachel wasn't going to stay in this experience if it weren't for him.
Right. So look, who knows? Maybe he did her a big favor. I don't know where Rachel goes in the show, but maybe she's the big star of the show. I don't know. But I will say this. I think his sincerity bit him in the ass in a sense that if he had low-keyed that a little bit more and been like, hey, look, let's stay here in Tulum. We don't want to go home. Let's just match.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Who cares?
but I feel like
let's hang out tonight.
I feel like a friendship match, just to be really careful.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like a friendship match with benefits. Who knows? Who knows?
No benefits.
Or maybe
no benefits.
maybe benefits. Potential benefits.
No benefits. No.
Anyway,
it muddies the waters.
I'm just saying, after this, I'm more on Clayton's side. And I'm not there because now we know him and I feel guilty for going against him. That happens. Yeah. It happens to everybody. But he made a good case. And I see it differently because of the way he articulated it. And he does articulate things.
Yeah.
This is what I'll say. I want to hang out with Clayton. I want to get like a few drinks in him.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. I want a few drinks in Clayton.
Yeah. A few drinks. I want a 3.5 to 4 drink Clayton.
Well, Andy, before we wrap, we should plug our recap.
Yeah, let's plug it.
Yes, in case you just found your way here and you're like, but wait, I want more. We recap the show, and that's actually what we're known for. But yes, we are known for our recaps, so be sure to check out our Perfect Match recaps. Our first one dropped today. And yeah, we recap all the shows.
All the shows, all the dating shows.
Yes. I will link our first recap for Perfect Match in the description.
Politics. 2028.
Well, that was a blast. That was a blast. Yeah. Truly, I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you do to support.
Okay, I have to confess something.
Yeah.
I screwed up. I was supposed to give Ruby her Kong with peanut butter and put her in her crate, but I forgot. So in the middle of this recording, in the middle of this interview, Ruby was scratching at Sharleen's leg and she had to pick her up and put her in a lap. Aww. And now that she's here, the one upside to this is that you get to see Ruby.
Yay. And do all the things you do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.
Oh, look at that.